Welcome to As We Get Older. I'm Laura Ornduff, and in this video, I want to talk about unclaimed money. Now, before I get into this, I want to make sure you are working with someone who knows the internet. And if you are 0.00000% unsure about something, talk to a financial person, legal person, let them help you because there's a lot of potential fraud and scamming out there. Now, what is unclaimed money? In essence, it's an account or money that they can't find the owner, that the institution cannot find the owner. It could be an abandoned bank account. Like you forgot about a bank account. You moved and you just forgot about a small checking account. Stocks. Maybe you were the beneficiary of a life insurance and they couldn't find you. An uncashed paycheck, back in 1982, you put the paycheck in your pocket. Several years later, you realize you still had it. You just threw it away. That money, now, typically, I don't know what happens in your state. It may be the same. It may be very different. I don't know. But typically, that the company, when they can't find you, they will take that money and give it to the state. That way they don't have to keep it on their books and they can just give it to the state. And the state typically will hold it until someone's able to claim it. Now, this is where I stress you've got to work with someone who knows what they're doing. This morning, when I was preparing for this video, I Googled unclaimed money. This was unclaimed money, North Carolina. And I'm on the computer all the time. The first 5, maybe, websites, I don't know if they were legitimate or not, but it was enough where it was a red flag because all 5 asked me for, hey, for $69, we will check all 50 states for unclaimed money. Okay, it could have been legitimate, but as of today in North Carolina, which is where I am, it's public domain, it's public information, it's free. Again, I don't know what's in your state. I think most of them are free, but again, I don't know. Yes, I could have paid the $69 plus there were all these little extra fees. They were quickly listing how much it was, and they could look for it. And maybe that's something that would work for you, that you don't want to sit there and look up 50 different states. That's your specific situation. But I stress, talk to a financial person, talk to a lawyer. They can tell you what the legitimate websites are. Because when I Googled, after I got through the 5, number 6 was North Carolina's website. And it was the state of North Carolina treasurer. I don't remember the exact address. And in North Carolina, I just, put in my last name and, pulled up information, didn't have anything. But when I Googled Virginia, because that's where my parents had lived before they were married, I Googled I pulled it up, and the one, it looked legitimate. Again, I'm on the computer all the time, but it asked for the last 4 digits of Dad's social security number because I did his first. I backed right out of that site. It could have been legitimate. It could have been the way Virginia handled it. I don't know. But it was enough where I didn't feel comfortable, backed right out of it. So that's where you talk to your financial, your legal professional. You talk to them and ask them for their help. Now, you may also be contacted, through a letter or phone call saying, hey, we found all this money. They may have. It may be legitimate, but they're charging a finder's fee. You may say, okay, it's worth it, whatever. But please, 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 please be hesitant if someone contacts you and asks you for your social security number. In 1986, what was your street address? Don't just hand that stuff out. Again, immediately bring in the professionals and just make sure that you are not being scammed. Now, for those of you sitting there watching this going, I know where my accounts are. I haven't lost track of any of my accounts. I know where everything is. Great. But let me tell you a scenario that has just happened that potentially could have been unclaimed money. few weeks ago, I received, I still have my father's P.O. box. I received a letter. And 5 years ago, my parents had filed an insurance claim and it was denied. And 5 years later, an independent group, and I verified this is legitimate, an independent group said, yes, the insurance company should have paid it. And so now they're going back and they're having to pay what's now dad's estate. But had I lived in another state, had I lived on the other side of North Carolina, I would have closed out his post office box. And, after a certain period of time, it's not going to be, mail's not going to be forwarded to me. So that money would have gone to the state to be held until I came across it and could prove, my father, I was the executor of the estate. So that was kind of like, out of the blue. So it can happen. I was talking to someone recently, and she's trying to prove she has lost money or unclaimed money, and it was when she was 6 years old. So she's trying to find a way to prove that she lived at this address when she was 6. Now, I would offer, and the same thing I told her, is like, get to a point, get an attorney. They could help out, because they know the different nuances of stuff and being able to prove documentation, all that. They can help with that. But again, most of the websites, if you have, sometimes they say like over 50, under 50, and it'll, print off the form. It tells you exactly what you need to do, what you need to prove, how you need to do it. But why not go ahead and check it out? I talked to a few people and they're like, my estate can deal with it. Why not use the money now? It's a lot easier for you to do it than for the estate to go back and claim. It can be done. It's just a lot easier for you to do it. And enjoy the money. Why not go ahead and do it? But please, sorry you're tired of hearing it, but please, 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 please work with someone who is comfortable with the internet, who's very savvy, so that you don't get scammed and that you don't fall victim to fraud. Please. Okay? Hope I've given you some things to think about, and some of you probably are flipping over immediately right now to a search engine to start searching for unclaimed money and then your state. But if you like what you see and you check out my other videos, you're finding things that you like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.